Have you ever thought that there are two crosses which look similar, and very often people mix them, but they function completely differently? One of them is Atlantis Cross. The other one is called Ankh. Hi, I'm Alicia Ratin, and I invite you to our next video dedicated to those two shapes and variation of them. I got actually the letter from one of you which says, I would like you to talk about the Atlantis Cross and Ankh. For me, it makes a difference. I learn intuitively with the Atlantis Cross that the eye takes energy. So if I grab the cross with my active, which means dominant, hand, and aim the cross at the other palm, which means non-dominant hand, I always find a kind of pressure or resistance between the hands in a certain position and distance, which then clears and loosens. So I go through and clear my whole aura. I feel great afterwards. Similar feeling of resistance to what you explain about the self-harmonization of the DNA spiral. Let me start with the story which my friend told me about her visit in Africa. She was introduced to the chief of one of the nations there, and the chief invited her to his place. And there was his wife, who showed my friend Ankh, and she said that that's the Holy Cross, and that she works with it, and it helps her to achieve some type of goals. So my friend, who had our Atlantis Cross with her, took the Atlantis Cross and she showed it to her. The woman never ever saw in her life the Atlantis Cross. So her first reaction was, wow, he found his wife. And my friend was very surprised. That's why she told me this story. And the woman took those two together, put them together. So they touched and said, finally they are together. Well, the story was very touching. And of course, my friend gave her Atlantis Cross as a gift. And the woman was absolutely ecstatic about it. Let's talk for a moment about the Ankh. And then we'll talk about Atlantis Cross, which looks very similar. But there is a huge difference in how those two act, and therefore how they influence our body, our energy field, and how we can use them in healing. The gentleman who wrote to me, he's from Czech Republic, when he says that there is a pressure or resistance between two hands, it is true because when you hold the shape, which really vibrates the energy, not any shape, but the shape which is based on the principles of sacred geometry and vibrates the energy, then the energy obviously touches the hand chakra of the non-dominant hand, and therefore it tries to penetrate into your body. And at the beginning, there will be a resistance, or there will be, how he said, a pressure here, just because there is a big amount of energy which comes into this receiving chakra. and tries to go in and balance whole or harmonize whole energetic system as fast as possible. So yes, there is a resistance at the beginning, and then it loosens because, first of all, our body takes the energy, therefore there is not such a huge thirst for energy, and the energy goes slower and slower inside, therefore there is less and less resistance, and finally our body is filled with the energy. Therefore it stops taking it. We don't have to give any command, because it is between the shape which sends the energy and our energetic system which says I need it and then I don't need it. So it's kind of like closing the opening of your hand chakra and rejects the energy, so it will not be overcharged with the energy. However, there is a big difference between how Atlantis Cross gives the energy and how Ankh gives the energy. So let's start with Ankh. Ankh has one leg on the bottom, 2 hands, and a head. If you watched any of my online courses, most of them refers to display of specific colors around the circle. So upper part of the circle represents or displays visible spectrum of light, and lower part is showing us invisible spectrum of light. In this upper part, it goes from red on the east, that's how day starts, to the green on the south, and then it goes further to the violet on the west. So we will have this specific vibration, and that's why I put this Ankh here to show you how it displays the energies. Don't forget that you can use any shape, put it on the circle, and then you will know what type of energies are coming out or specific shape gives. So it will radiate red here, violet from this side, and green, visible green, which comes from the chakra, heart chakra, to up. Now, in his longer email, this gentleman is talking about that when he holds the top, it releases the energy which he can get. When you look in old Egyptian pictures or drawing on the walls of the pyramid, for example, or temples, you will see very often that the gods and goddesses hold the Ankh this way, that they hold the Ankh this way. So as Yiri said, they hold it on the top when there is a green released, which goes into their body or goes out of their body, depending what they want to do and what goal they want to achieve. And then it spreads, connects with those two, and goes down. Unfortunately, what happens here with the Ankh is that the Ankh, I'm trying to put it back the way it was, that the Ankh has one leg, which means it does not reflect black and white here, but by connecting those two legs, what Egyptians achieved was what was called in 1930s, when this shape and those principles of it was found, that Ankh releases actually negative green. Therefore, Ankh is very good in sending the energy, but it also can be very harmful to human energy field just because it is not pro-life vibration. It's with Ankh, negative green radiates through absolutely everything and can be sent on very, very long distance. So we will have still red and violet and green, but from the bottom we will have negative green. That's why Ankh, in this size can be still worn as a jewelry piece, but the bigger size releases a lot of negative green, and it is good to do different procedures, let's say, like sending energy from place A to place B, and so on. But it is not very healthy, for example, to have it hanged in your car over the wheel, because from the bottom part it will send negative green to your feet or to your calves. So be aware of that and avoid using big size of Ankh in this sense. Here we have Atlantis Cross, put in the same circle, which we were using to check the display of energy on Ankh. So we will have the same on the bottom, on the top, which means red, violet, and green, visible spectrum of white light, so green from the heart chakra. But on the bottom, we have two legs. It is not one continuous leg, but two separate parts. And that's why one of them releases white, and the other one releases black. So here we don't have, if you will wear Atlantis ring, Atlantis cross on you, we do not have the effect as we talked about with Ankh, that there will be negative green directed to your body, because we have only one, white and black. Now let's think about it, how it can help us. As we know from channeling sources, different books on Atlantis and so on, which are also channeled, just because obviously we don't have the location yet, and there is no artifact yet. So we only have channeled information about it. The original information was that people on Atlantis were using Atlantis Cross as imitation of human body. So 2 hands, 2 legs, and a head. We can also refer to the picture or drawings of Leonardo da Vinci, which also researched the human body based on similar position of the body of a man, in order to find out proportions and find out also the energies coming out or coming into human body from environment or from the higher dimensions. The legend says that when Atlantis sank, and some people of Atlantis made it, which means left Atlantis, before it sank, and ended up in Egypt. They have decided, as they felt the need to share their advanced knowledge, the first idea was that they have to clear the world from all this sorrow and also clear the Mother Earth from her suffering just because she lost one of her children, which means whole continent. So the idea was that by connecting those two legs and creating one, which changed the vibration coming out or given out by the lower part of Ankh, they achieved the goal of clearing and passing those energies away from this planet and create new set of knowledge, new set of symbology, and new set of beliefs for people. Some say the goal was achieved to a certain degree, but then people started to build, based on Ankh, different shapes. But there is also a shape of Atlantis Cross found, for example, on the walls of the pyramids, inside the pyramid. And if you will look into the shape which is called the Eye of Horus, you can see that in Eye of Horus there are two legs of Atlantis Cross, and one of those legs is bent at certain angle and certain proportions to create this new shape which is called Eye of Horus. Now, there is a lot of principles of sacred geometry here, the proportion between all the parts here, and so on. So there is a lot to say about Eye of Horus, not only that it's a shape which protects and clears the energy. So let's summarize one more time. First was Atlantis Cross, which had two legs, two hands, and a head. And this shape works like a personal neutralizer. It grabs the energy from all parts of your body and then sends it down to the ground to neutralize, to be looked after by the Mother Earth. And it harmonizes, therefore, the rest of our energy field. Then, when people moved into Egypt, they connected those two legs from Atlantis Cross, created Ankh, with two hands, head, and one leg, which gives one vibration instead of two, and the one vibration which is on opposite side of positive green, which means a visible green, there is also invisible green coming from the bottom of this one leg, which we call negative green. And this cross, generally speaking, is to send the energy and to receive the energy. We can also send using this shape. We can also send different commands, different requests on a very long distance, because, as we said, negative green vibration is a frequency which clears and penetrates through absolutely everything. There is no isolator which would hold or stop this vibration from penetrating further or through it. One thing which I would like to show and ask you to remember is that because Ankh sends the negative green vibration, we really shouldn't direct it to our own body or other people's body, because what we are sending to the body is negative energy, negative green energy. We can use this energy as a carrier wave to send something else. For example, to send red, or to send good wishes to someone. But in this case, we are not sending negative green. We are just using negative green as a carrier wave to deliver what we want to deliver to the body. But it does not, in this case, enters the body. It just stops at the, minimal distance, let's say, or at the front of the body, and then allows those vibrations which we want to pass to enter the body and spread throughout it to help us balance, heal, and achieve our own goals. And I hope I helped you to understand the difference between those two shapes and the nature of those two shapes. So now you can achieve your own goals and help others by using Ankh and Atlantis Cross, and make your own and your friends' life easier, better, and more prosperous. I wish you all the best, and I will see you in our next video, but also be invited to our Scientific Dowsers group. Send me an email and we will let you know how to join us, because it's a private group. All the best and see you soon. Bye for now.